Hey there, welcome to my cooking class. Guys, it's Jacqueline here. And I might have been teasing you. I had said that I was gonna go to Paris. But the beauty of this is I get to go to Paris in my kitchen, or I get to travel the world with flavors. So we'll just wait for a few of you to pop on. When you get on, let me know where you're from. And I wanted to introduce, hi. I wanted to introduce you to a product today that I'm going to be using, and it's only here for a very limited time. Are you ready for it? I said we're going to Paris today. This is Paris Bistro. Oh my gosh. It is in our Food Rewind, and if you're not familiar with what's going on in 2022, our company is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and we're bringing back products from the past. And this Paris Bistro is absolutely delicious. It can be a dip, it can be a spread. And today we're going to use it like a salad dressing, but we're going to use it as a seasoning as well. So what is this little product exactly? Well, here's the description. Ooh la la. Yes, it's got a flavor bursting with garlic and kissed with parsley. And you are going to absolutely love it. So today, the salad dressing is going to be using this a couple different ways, and you will want to grab this while it's available. It's not currently in our catalog as an everyday item. It's only available for the month of February. So get your order in before it's gone, okay? It's a short month to boot. So let's get started with how this salad dressing is going to work. Well, first off, I need to cut this beautiful Roma tomato. I love Roma tomatoes. They're actually one of my favorite tomatoes. And one of the reasons is because they're not so juicy. So I really love them for making my dehydrated tomatoes. I like using cherry tomatoes as well, but today I want to do this because I want to have nice slices. So I'm going to use our ceramic knife. This has got a really nice sharp blade. You probably noticed I took off the sheath on here that protects the blade. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to slice my tomato up into little wedges. And I hope you can see this. I think you can. And you can see how sharp it is. And I am literally just going to put it in our 4-cup prep bowl. Now, I'd mentioned I do like Romas better because they're not as juicy. If I did a beefsteak tomato, you would find that it was just full of juice. And because I'm dehydrating it in the oven, I don't want to have to sit here forever having all that moisture evaporate. So hence why I'm using Roma tomatoes. And this one was a huge one, which is great. So got it in our 4-cup prep bowl. What am I going to do now? Well, I want to season this because I love roasting tomatoes in my oven. And one of the reasons I like roasting them in the oven versus buying sun-dried tomatoes, price. Oh my gosh. Have you seen how expensive sun-dried tomatoes are? Plus, the oil that they're using, unlike the oil I'm using, is probably subpar. They don't care. I, on the other hand, use really good olive oil. I'm using our 4-in-1 spoon here. Put a tablespoon of oil in there, and I want to throw flavor on it now, okay? So doing your own sun-dried is going to save you money, and it's so easy. And for those of you who have gardens or live in an area that there's lots of produce in the summer, like you can sun-dry your tomatoes. I do them, and then I freeze them even, so I can keep them in my freezer, and when I just want to add them to a casserole or whatever, I just open up the little baggie and pulse them out. So here's how we're going to use the first part. We are going to use our Paris Bistro in here. So now you saw that I already put oil in this one, right? It's a wet spoon. If I put a dry mix on this, all it's going to do is stick, which is why you should buy a couple of these spoons. They are so handy. I like keeping one for liquids, the other ones for dries. And you'll notice it was designed in-house so that it actually fits right in the spice jar. I want you to think about your spoons. Does your 1 tablespoon fit inside our spice jar? Because if it doesn't, it's a very inexpensive item, but makes your life way easier in the kitchen. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this on. And I'm also going, now I wanted to show you something else. I like adding salt. You know, most of our product is low sodium. So that is our salt grinder. And I'm going to add some pepper. Okay, and now I'm simply going to just grab my spoon here, and I'm just going to toss it a little bit and make sure that it's getting all my oil and my seasonings mixed up. Okay, super easy. Now, I got one more trick for you guys. Okay, we're gonna put this on a baking sheet. Now, this is a 1/4 sheet pan. They do not come with this liner, but seriously, it's like bread and butter. If you buy one, get a friend. Bring this with you. Love, love, love this. In fact, I was talking to a brand new customer that I had, and I said, have you seen these mats? And the person said, actually, I've got, you know, these flat mats that I use. And I said, but they have a lip on them. Yes, this 1/4 inch lip prevents all your liquids from not going underneath the sheet and then making you a hard to clean pan. You're gonna love these. And this is a perfect example of why you want this. Of course, this is gonna be a little bit liquidy because it's a tomato. And I am literally just going to spread it out on this baking sheet. Now, if it runs because it's a little liquidy to the sides, I am not worrying about it going underneath and burning on my pan, which means, oh my gosh, I have to spend more time in the kitchen cleaning and scrubbing and soaking and blah, 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 blah. So if you hate doing that, get the baking sheets. So I'm gonna put this in an oven. I do wanna make sure that this meal happens relatively quickly, but normally when I do sun-dried tomatoes, it's slow and low. I wanna get food on the table a little bit faster, so I'm actually gonna put this in a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. You know, I've got a TV version going on with this, okay? But just throw it in there. Now, I did say, I'm gonna show you a little trick. Now, I had mentioned I'm gonna use this a couple ways. Okay, you saw how I used a spoon and stuck it in here, but watch this. If I take this grinding mechanism off my salt or pepper grinder, I can simply screw it onto the top of our spice jars, okay, you can see that? And now I can just add, rather than big chunks, just a little bit of extra flavoring. Is that not amazing? Like, seriously, you need the grinders. It's going in the oven now. Give me a second. All right, so that is the start of the first part of my dish. Now, the other thing I'm gonna do, this is a Parisian, are you ready for this? A Parisian squash salad. So because it's got a squash in it, I have a butternut squash here. And we have this great peeler. So all I'm gonna do, you can see how easy it is to peel. I'm just gonna peel the hard part of this, and then we're gonna cut it into cubes, and we're gonna steam it in the microwave. Now, normally, when you're steaming it in a regular pan, it takes a little bit of time, and you might have been baking your squash over a period of time. This is so much faster and so much easier. So it's called a Y peeler. It's got a really sharp blade, okay? And now I'm literally going to just cut it into cubes. Oops. And I'm gonna put it in our little rectangular steamer. Now you want them to be like bite-sized pieces. And the reason you want that is we're having a salad, and a lot of times people don't serve a salad with a knife. I mean, you certainly can, but I always want to make sure that I have pieces that are manageable. So here is, oh sorry, I should have showed you this. This is a rectangular steamer. So this is a perfect sizing for this salad. Now, this salad, just so you know, can be a main course, but this salad is also good in a mason jar. Now, if you're gonna do mason jars, so those of you who are working maybe out of the house and you wanna maybe take your salad with you, whenever you're doing this, always make sure that the lettuce component goes at the top of your mason jar, because lettuce, of course, is very delicate. And if you're stuffing things in like squash or other items, what you're going to find is you're going to literally crush your greens. And of course, you never put your dressing on in advance because it will wilt. So there is our butternut squash. We're just gonna put a lid on this. And for the size that I've got, the amount that I've got in this little rectangular steamer, this is literally only gonna take about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, depending on your microwave, And that's it. It's done. Okay, so let me just pop this in and I'll be right back. Okay. All right, now this is a flexible cutting board. I've been cutting on it already. You can see it's a little bit of a mess. Love this because literally I can fold it and drop these right into my little garbage, so I'm not making too big of a mess at my counter. Okay. All right, so next, what am I gonna do for this salad? Well, I want to tell you about one of my favorite ingredients that I love in my kitchen. Capers. What are capers? Well, a caper is a questionable act. So I'm actually gonna do a questionable act today. Have you ever fried capers? Yum. Oh, I love the flavor. This is going to make little morsels of absolutely yummy, crispy, vinegary flavor bombs. That's what they are. So I've got a burner going on here. We're just going to get some heat on here. And what you're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of oil. So again, use a little bit of olive oil. Not a lot, just a little bit. We're going to heat this up quickly. Now, our basting brush brand came back into the line this year. Love this because, boy, can you get this clean. It goes in the dishwasher. But I'm just going to make sure that I spread that around on my fry pan. Okay, you don't need a lot of oil, as you can see. And you're going to dry your little capers out. Hey, Doreen and Diane. Nice to see you, Chris. Dry your little capers out. We're going to get some heat on this. It's not going to take very long. And we're going to crisp these little babies up. They're going to be absolutely amazing. So what are capers? Okay, here's a fun food fact. Capers are actually related to cabbage. Do they look like cabbage? No, they don't look like cabbage, but they're actually on a tree, like a bush, and it's really prickly. So if you actually saw the bush, you might be saying, actually, it looks more like a rose bush. Maybe they're related to roses, right? Anyway, no, it's actually the cabbage family, which is bizarre. But they put them in brine, and they become these, I love them. If you love pickles, capers are your girl. Anyway, love, love, love these. So these are actually the immature flower buds. And they actually pick these usually daily because, of course, buds won't stay buds for long. So I've got this on heat. I'm using my silicone spatula here. And what we're going to do in this pan, now that our oil's hot, we're just going to stir it around and let them get crispy and dry out a little bit. These are like, if you're gluten intolerant and you wanted croutons, I'm going to challenge you to get some capers and fry them up because I think they're even better than croutons because they have all this amazing flavor. And this only takes, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes depending on your heat for these things to dry out and crisp up. You'll know that they're getting crispy because they'll actually start exploding. So their skin will start coming off. So they're really quite cool. Now, I had mentioned these are the little buds. But if you want to see the next part of it, these are caper berries. And I'm going to be adding this to the salad as well. So these are actually, once the fruit is produced, this is the bud after it flowers. And so they're part of the same family, but this is in a different stage. And I like both, again, like pickles. But I love how they are shaped, and they're really nice in salads as well. Okay, I don't know if you can see how nicely, I'll let this cook just a little bit longer, but they're actually changing colors. They were quite green before. Give me a second. Anyway, and we're just going to, this is going to turn into like from green to sort of a brown color. Almost done. So we've got our squash in our microwave cooking. We've got our tomatoes going. As soon as I want to just make sure I'm really watching these because they'll cook really, really fast. So I don't want to overcook them and have them be overdone, but I do want to make sure they're crispy. Okay, so what else am I putting in this salad? Okay, I want to show you this. I'm going to put beans on these. These are white beans, and I don't know if you've seen this, but this is our collapsible strainer. So I've actually put the beans in here, and I'm going to drop them into a 4-cup bowl. I'm not going to use all of them, actually. Give me a second. Something's happening over here. So I've got the canned beans in here, and I said it's collapsible. Hang on, let me show you. If you have storage issues in your kitchen, you're going to love this because you can open it up so it's nice and big and deep. But when you go to put it away, squish it down, and boom. It takes no effort, no space whatsoever. Okay, I am turning these off now. Okay, so there is our little crispy caper berries. They dried up a little bit. They're smaller, but now they're these little crunchy little morsels. So let's get back to my salad. Okay, I'm going to put beans in here. Now, these white beans, I mean, beans have really not a lot of flavor. Hey, hi, Anne-Marie. So I want to add, oops, give me a second. Ovens are beeping. Call me. Don't people know I'm going live? Anyway, I want to add some flavor to this. And because we've got a theme going here, I'm going to make a salad dressing out of this. So I need to pop off this lid. Let's get it back where it originally belonged, which is our salt grinder. And we need to add this and get it moist, right? Because this is a dry mix. And the flavor is actually going to be enhanced once it's had some opportunity to open up in some liquid. So I've got in our 4-cup prep bowl about a 1/4 cup of water. We're going to add a couple tablespoons using our 4-in-1 spoon already, right? Tablespoon at this end, teaspoon at this end, and you flip it over and there you go, 1/2 and 1/4 on the back side. So I'm using our little knife here and I'm going to just give this a little stir and let it sit for a minute or two while I continue on telling you some fun food facts about this. Now, because I wanted, one more thing that I'm going to add to this, because I want it to be sort of Parisian, like we're going to Paris, wine. Wine vinegar, yes, red wine vinegar. I'm actually going to add a little bit of vinegar to this as well. So I don't want it to overpower the flavors that are in here. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon, okay? And that's just going to give it some nice acidity. And it's going to make like an oil vinaigrette because we are actually going to be adding this to our cruet, okay? So in our bowl, because I don't want just plain old beans, we're going to flavor our beans and we're going to add some additional things like onions, right? So where's my ceramic knife? Let's grab this and we're just going to quickly slice some onions in here. I don't want too many. So I've got some nice slices here. You could use our mandolin if you would prefer. So we'll just get those going in here. My sun-dried tomatoes, I'm going to grab those. And okay, here's my sun-dried tomatoes. And you can see how they've dried right out. Okay, now these, because they're dried out, the flavors on these are just really intense, like delicious. Now, I'm certainly not going to need all of this. So this is why I said, when you can get tomatoes on sale and rather than spending all that money in the grocery store, just get some tomatoes that are on sale and do them sun-dried and freeze them in freezer packs. So I'm going to put a few of these. It's going to add great flavor as well. I love doing that for chicken, like chicken piccata, doing my own sun-dried tomatoes. I've got my beans, my onions, my squash, okay? My butternut squash. 4 minutes in the microwave. Absolutely perfect. I didn't add extra water. I'm not leaching out all the extra veggies and nutrients and vitamins that are in there. It's going to give a really nice color. And now we need to toss it with our dressing. So what am I going to do? I'm literally going to grab our cruet, grab the funnel, again, a bread and butter thing, right? You can't have one with the other. You're just going to pour this in here. I'm going to use my little spatula to make sure I get all that nice garlic, onion, parsley flavoring. Okay, give me a second. Make sure this goes in here, and we're gonna add oil. So once I get this all in here, what I love about this cruet is the cruet actually has measuring marks right on the jar. So I can see that the equivalent of this is just over 1/4 of a cup. So I'm gonna get my good quality olive oil because this is a salad dressing, and I am going to fill to the 1/2 cup line. There we go. Perfect. All right, put a lid on it, give it a good shake. You don't need to use all of this in one serving. You can just put this back in the fridge. But if you don't want to have your salad going wilty, add your dressing at the table. In this case, I'm not actually adding it to my greens yet. I am just flavoring all these ingredients with my Parisian flavored vinaigrette. Okay, so I'm going to grab our grip and grab tongs, give this a little toss, make sure I've got lots of flavor, coating on everything that I've got in here. Remember, I've got the onions, the beans, the sun-dried tomatoes, the squash. Doesn't that look dreamy already? Okay, so let me go get my greens. So I've got this in the fridge. So this is all you need to do to plate it. You can use this as a full meal deal. It's 100% perfectly balanced, okay? So you've got your greens. Oops, that's a little hot still on my stove. I'm literally going to grab, give me a second, my saute spoon, and I'm going to layer. Make sure I get a little bit of greens, onions, the beans, my squash on there. And last but not least, I wanted to, because you need to have some good fat. I know we've got some olive oil going on here, but why not a little bit of cheese? So did you know that in France, they actually make Edam cheese? And the brine, I don't think I kept the brine, but the brine is not like the waxy brine, like the Edam that you can get from Holland. The brine, when you get it from France, actually is from it being made in Bordeaux barrels. So it's got that wine flavoring as well. So you may want to put like a little French cheese on it. If you're a blue cheese person, you could have done that. I know if you're feeding kids, blue cheese is probably not their thing. But I thought I'd do that. You can add olives, and yes, olives come from the Mediterranean. And you might be asking, why is she using cut olives? I do prefer unpitted olives. But that being said, I have these open in the fridge because we had homemade pizza the other day. So I don't throw anything out. I always use what I've got in the fridge. And our last little thing that I'm going to add is these caper berries, because I think they look absolutely gorgeous. Throw a few of those on. And last but not least, these little flavor bombs, which have dried out. They're not as hot, but just sprinkle these on rather than croutons. I am going to tell you guys, this is going to be an amazing Parisian salad that you're absolutely going to love. And it's not dripping ooey gooey with a whole bunch of laden salad dressings that are full of preservatives and fillers. This was basically really good oil, a little bit of vinegar, some amazing flavor from our Paris bistro. Grab it while it's here. I'm going to tell you, it has so many uses. One of my absolute favorite breakfasts, to be honest, is making omelets and making the sauce, just following the recipe on the back and drizzle it over top of your omelet when it's all done. This is a rock star in the kitchen. So guys, that's my cooking class for today. I hope you enjoyed it. My husband's not around. I am on the Epic Life Challenge. This is a perfectly balanced meal, just as is. It's got your greens, it's got your protein, it's got your veg, it's got the oil, and it's got a ton of flavor. So I hope you enjoyed my cooking class today. Make sure you come back next time. I always do cooking classes on Thursdays, so I hope you come back again. Nice to see you, Nadia and Stephanie and Anne-Marie. I hope you come back again. And hey, if you're ever in the neighborhood Always give me a ring. You never know what I might have brewing up in my kitchen. What are you having for dinner tonight? So take care, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye for now.